Well, hello, and welcome to Real Talk. I'm yours truly, Z. Andre Huff, with my wonderful, beautiful co-host, Bishop T, Bishop Tanya Latham. We are excited. We have a big treat for you on today. Big treat for you on today. We are actually have two of um, people that's representing the District 3 for us in the city of Gaston. And for as the county District 5, um, Councilman Thomas Worthy and Commissioner Jeffrey Washington. They're going to be joining us on today, and we're going to discuss something that some of you have already heard that has been said. And we just want your point of view and see how you feel about it, what you think about it. That's what your, well, our governor, um, Kay Ivey, said, blame them. We're going to talk about it in just a few minutes about that statement. And we welcome your comments. We welcome your comments at any time. Of course, you know we post all your comments on our screen as we continue this program. Listen, we want you to share this with any and everyone. Let them know that the Real Talk is up and going. You can connect with us several ways. One way is through conference call. And that's 1-646-224-5980. That PIN number is 334-1986. And you can also connect with us on Facebook Live. That's on the Z. Andre Huff page and the Mount Zion Baptist Church page of East Gaston. And if you don't, if you know someone that doesn't do social media such as Facebook, tell them to pull up the YouTube. Go on my YouTube channel, that's Z. Andre Huff on YouTube. Like and subscribe. We're here every Wednesday around the 6:15, 6:20 hour. We're just excited to have you join us on today. Well, hello, my beautiful co-host, Bishop T. What's up?
Hello. You go.
Listen, I'm getting my impressions down pat, ain't I?
I see you working on them. You are definitely working on them. This has been a week, hasn't it?
It has been a week. It's been a hot week too, ain't it?
Hey, so you better live right.
Okay. All right.
That's all I'm saying.
I did the moonwalk. I moonwalk back on that one.
Well, all I'm saying is you better live right, baby, because it's been hot. But here's the thing. I'm glad that I can feel the heat. I'm gonna give me some. Hey, I'm gonna step off camera when you start the and get me something to drink. So in case I get parched.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm wonderful. I'm living my best life.
Living your best life, praise God. Listen, we got a good show tonight.
A wonderful
We got a good show. Right. And I hope that let me go ahead and say that you need to get your questions ready. For those of you who have questions, you need to get your questions ready because this is going to be a very informative show tonight. And so we've got some good guests on, and we hope to provide some good information on tonight. That's what we hope to do tonight. So like, share, and let's get ready to have this conversation.
Let's have it. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go.
Right, let's have it.
All right, all right, all right.
I should have known that you were coming with something other than what you needed to come with. I should have
All
known.
right. All right. I'm excited. I'm excited. We're ready to dive right into it. We got quite a few people that are joining us on Facebook Live. Thank you, Miss Maddie Cottrell, for sharing it. Please, everyone, please share it. Please share it. Please share it. Please share it on your page. Be willing to ask any questions that you want to ask concerning what we're going to talk about today. We are actually we want to hear what side of the fence you're on, if you're opposed or if you're for what we're going to discuss on today. Bishop T, there was a statement came out not too long ago from our governor, the governor of Alabama. She said it's about time we start blaming the unvaccinated. It's about time we start blaming the unvaccinated. That being said, we want to know, have you been vaccinated? Do you have the vaccine? Do you have the vaccine? And we're going to talk about it because there's several things that are taking place in our city. Some incentives. We know that the rate is going up, and we got some our councilman and our commissioner that's finna get ready to join us to share some insight on what's actually going on. We have Commissioner Jeffrey Washington, Councilman Thomas Worthy. We want everybody at this time to go ahead and welcome them to the screen. Go ahead, flood the timeline with hearts. Speak to them if you want to, and go ahead and say hello to them. But we want to welcome them. Welcome, Commissioner and Councilman.
Thank you, Pastor Z and Bishop Lake. Thanks for inviting me here to Real Time. It's an honor to be here on your show to share and hear from the constituents their concerns, and hope we can encourage them to do what is best in their best interest after they hear what we have to say.
Amen. Real talk. That's who we are, Commissioner. We call Real Talk. Don't you forget that name, because we know next year what's about to happen. It's going to be election time, and y'all may have to use some of that campaign fund to get some exposure back on Real Talk. So we're gonna let y'all on here free this time, okay?
Worthy, I knew we were set up when we got here, Worthy.
Listen, they go, Councilman Worthy. They go, you and I, campaign manager. She's on, Miss Michelle, as you call her. Amen. Welcome, Councilman. How are you?
I'm great, and like the commissioner said, thank you all for inviting us because we need to get the word out and dispel some of these rumors about the vaccines.
Okay, awesome. So, first things first, y'all heard the statement. I'm sure y'all read it in the papers. It's been flashing all across news media. What Governor Ivey has says concerning the spiking of this, the Delta, which is a variant of the actually virus. Blame them. That's what she said. Blame them. So let's talk about it. Y'all flip a coin, whichever one of y'all win. You go ahead and go first about it. Okay, let me just do it this way, Councilman. Commissioner, what you think about that?
Let the commissioner go first. He outranks me.
I don't know about all that, but I believe that as leaders, we should be careful how we choose our words. And as Governor Ivey said, she gave her very own opinion about blaming them. There's nothing to support her statement of blame them. So I think her statement is well uninformed. And to place blame anywhere but where we should be doing things to encourage people at this time to get the vaccine, I think she put people on the defense with that statement of blame them. No one's at fault. Everyone has to make their own choice and their own decision. Our job as leaders is to encourage them to do with the information that we get that sometimes they don't get, to encourage them to do what is right with the information we give them.
Okay, all right, Commissioner. All right, you state your claim. That's the way you feel about it, and I appreciate you. This Real Talk. Now we don't want you to bag down. Say what you feel. Say what you mean. As my daddy would say what you mean and mean what you say.
That's it.
Amen. All right, now, Councilman Worthy, how do you feel about that?
I
that
have a
statement?
little different take on it.
Okay.
I happen to agree with what she said. You know, she didn't lie. She's speaking the truth. You know, we almost had the coronavirus beat back with the vaccinations, and now with the Delta variant, we're seeing an increase. So if you got to blame anybody, it would have to be the people that haven't taken the shots and been vaccinated, because we have a pandemic again with the unvaccinated people. So you really don't want to blame anybody, but if you had to lay blame somewhere, it would have to be on the people that's not vaccinated, because we had an uptick in cases, and 99% of the people that that's in the hospital are people that's not vaccinated.
Okay. All right. And so, do you think that um, do you believe that it's the unvaccinated that's keeping this thing spiking and spreading?
Oh, most definitely, because just like we have the Delta variant, if we don't get the people vaccinated, it would mutate again into something stronger, maybe.
Okay.
You know, because this Delta variant is very infectious. So we have to get it under control, just like we got smallpox and all these other bad diseases under control through vaccinations.
Yeah. Now
Well,
y'all do know that we do have some people coming on here, and so at
well,
times we're gonna share some things. But Commissioner, what you about to say?
But my thing was that people that have gotten vaccinated are also still getting sick. And my only reason for saying that blame them would simply be that if you have been vaccinated, it does not mean that you're not going to catch it. It just simply means that if you do catch it, your infection should not be as severe as if you had not been vaccinated.
That's
So
true.
it's not a guarantee that you're not going to get it. And so if we place blame on them, that means those who have been vaccinated, they can still catch it and spread it. And those who have not been vaccinated can catch it and still spread it. The hope is that we can minimize the risk of people dying if they would get vaccinated, and minimize them spreading it because they know that they have it. And I think that's where we're at right now. And I think when she says blame them, I don't want to blame anybody. As a leader, I want to encourage people to get the vaccine so that we can control, like Councilman Worthy said, control it mutating. That's the only thing the vaccine is going to do for us, is help us control it mutating into something else that we got to try to formulate another vaccine for. So, and right now, kids 12-year-old and up can take this vaccine, and hopefully we can curtail it. School is about to start back. The community is on edge again. And again, I want to encourage people, it's not mandated, but wear a mask. Wear a mask, because it will help. It'll help curtail this thing. And if it mutates, it'll mutate again. So I agree with Councilman Worthy. It's important that we encourage people to get vaccinated to slow the mutation. We're not going to stop it from spreading, but we can slow the mutation. So those who haven't been vaccinated, wear a mask. Those of you who have been vaccinated, wear a mask, because you can still get it.
Right. You can still get it. And I'm gonna come back to that in just a few minutes, because there's a few things that we're talking about and we're discussing that I have a little difference of opinion when it comes down to what we really are talking about. But there's a comment that is on here say, according to their president, the virus was a hoax, so maybe they should blame him. And they was talking about 45.
Right.
Of course, he was saying it was a hoax.
He took it. He took the vaccine, him and his wife.
Yes.
Are we talking about Trump?
Oh yeah, yes.
That's who you're talking about.
I didn't know if he took the vaccine or not.
Oh, yeah, he took it in secret.
Yes.
And you have someone who's saying that's not true.
Well, he did. He took it.
They're talking about for as the people that's not vaccinated that is causing the spread. We have someone else that said the vaccination doesn't prevent COVID, though. So, and what I think is happening is that we got a lot of misinformation out there. We got people on two different sides of the table, you know. And until everybody starts speaking the same thing, you're gonna have a divided people. One thing that I am certainly know that I've heard this time and time again um, is that I'm not going to get the vaccination because I'm not going to get the vaccination because every time I get the flu shot, I get the flu. And see, that's misinformation because I took the Pfizer shot. And here's what people don't know: the vaccine has the flu in it.
Right.
The COVID vaccination does not have COVID in it.
Right.
See,
No.
you have to get material and read it before you start just trying to compare because it's not in the comparison to it. And so I heard people say that, and I don't argue with people about getting it. You know, when they ask me if I got it yet, and they start asking me why I don't listen. This is my body. You know, now if you don't want to get it, that's on you. Now, for whatever reason you choose not to get it, that's on you. But you know, you do what you want to do with your body. I even tell my congregation, I don't force anything or try to change their mindset. All I do is offer the information. Whatever you want to do with that information, that's on you. But don't criticize me because I chose to do what I want to do with my body. So that's one thing that I've heard. And then I hear our people, and I'm gonna say our people because our people keep referring back to Tuskegee and the experiment, you know, with them receiving syphilis and going, you know, and they keep referring back to that and saying, this is why I'm not going to get it. They're trying to sneak some in on us and all this and all that. But this real talk, and I'm going to say what I want to say about this. They offered the vaccination at my job. What made me jump on it? I looked at the line. And when I looked at the line that was wrapped around the building and almost outside the gate, I jumped in line because the folks that was in line didn't look like me. I don't hear nobody.
Nope.
And so I know if they getting in line to get it, a lot of time they have more information about stuff than we do. They ain't trying to get rid of them. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And so I immediately jumped in line and I've gotten my shot. You know, here's my point about the mask. If we don't think the vaccination will help, I need to tell you, these little play masks and decorative masks and designer masks that we wearing around here nowadays, they ain't gonna stop us. If the vaccine ain't gonna stop us from dying from it, what would the mask do? Is the question. And so the number have spiked up in our city. Do any one of you have an idea?
I have the numbers.
Okay.
In the last 14 days, we've seen 145%. Let me repeat that. 145% increase in positive cases in Gaston.
And to break that down, that's almost 35.2%, 35.2 people per day. We're seeing an average of 35 people a day reporting that they tested positive for COVID. That's 35.
And this new variant, the Delta.
They didn't tell us that this morning, so I can't answer that part. I cannot.
But part of it is because they're seeing it in 18-month-old and 5-year-old, up to 5-year-old, the Delta variant. So
they seen it in the what now?
In 18-month-olds and 5-year-olds.
Wow. And see, you can't even get one of the shots unless you're 12.
Exactly. So that's the Delta variant. So and then the ages 50 and below are catching it more because the older population has been vaccinated.
Okay, so let me ask a question. The hospitals here in Etowah County, do you know how many beds are filled with COVID patients?
Yes, 11 patients that's in Gaston Regional, 3 are on vents. They got about 10 staff members that's out with it, 15 at Riverview Hospital, and I think they got like 1 staff member out. And you can't even go and visit in the ER. You can't go in the ER, and then the mask, you have to wear a mask to go in either hospital again now.
Okay. Now, we have a question, and the question is, what percentage of those have and have not been vaccinated? Do you know?
That I did not. I don't think they gave that information this morning.
Yeah.
We didn't get that.
But I can tell you this: 29% of the people in Etowah County in Gaston that's been vaccinated with both doses, only 29%. And then it jumps up to 34.8% with 1 dose. That's it. That's why we are worse. The Gaston is worse than the county. The county, Etowah County, is worse than the state, and the state is worse than the nation. So that make Gaston last in the nation.
Wow.
We're not getting vaccinated here. So numbers here are spiking. Our numbers are, I would use the word ridiculous, because we keep listening and thinking that this is something to kill us or to hurt us or gonna have some side effect 10, 12 years from now. And that's not true. As you said earlier, Pastor Z, that the information that we need to give the people to understand that they need to make an educated decision is what we have to give them. And I'm hoping that we can dismiss some of the myths that are out there, like you're talking about. This is to help you, not to hurt you. And it's to help you see life a little bit longer. Because if you get it, this information that we're giving to you is to help you make a educated decision, not just what you hear. I mean, yes, the numbers are spiking. Yes, we're in last place, and we shouldn't be in last place. We shouldn't be there. We're concerned about our constituents living long life, having plenty of fun and enjoying their families. But now this bad boy touches home. So if you are a man or you go to work and you bring this home, you would normally do anything to save your family. This is the time to save your family. I guess if you would use the word from the Bible, am I my brother's keeper? I can't be my brother's keeper if I'm not going to take care of myself to be able to help someone else or encourage somebody else to help somebody else. Let's help each other here now. Let's encourage each other to get the vaccine.
Yeah.
I mean, you still have your choice, but get the information. Don't listen to all these hopes. Don't listen to people tell you what it's going to do. Get the information for yourself so you can make an educated decision about getting this shot.
Exactly. And I want to respond to someone that just put something on Facebook here about number one is saying that it's 100% effective, the vaccine. It's not. And I think they've had some people to pass that caught it, but they told you from the beginning, oh, it was only 90% effective. Nothing is 100% effective. So you can still catch it and you can still transmit it, especially this Delta variant. But what we want to do is cut that down. You won't get as sick, and then hopefully you won't have to go in the hospital and you won't pass. But I think the last numbers I've seen, 0.0003% people that passed that had both vaccines, both shots, but they had other underlying conditions. So we're not saying nothing is 100%. That's why they're going back to now telling you to wear your mask even if you've been vaccinated inside.
Yeah. Question. We have a question here from a friend, Robert. Why has anyone compared the dots between the food shortage, fast check that, and the need for the virus to kill? Powerful people are banking on non-vaccination. You know, it's a lot. It's a lot to and people have theories. People are always looking at that is the government is trying to do this, trying to do that. At the end of the day, I want to see people live. I want to see people live. And so by any means necessary, whatever you can do to live, I want you to do that. Don't get so caught up in all this spiritual and all this political thoughts that you mess around and don't do what you need to do and it costs you your life. That's all I'm saying to you. You can follow us. You can watch us right now on Facebook Live, Z Andre Huff page, the Mount Zion Baptist Church page. You can catch us on the YouTube channel, Z Andre Huff. Like and subscribe, share. We welcome all your comments. We welcome all your questions. You can also catch us if you want to join us on a conference call. That's on 1-646-224-5980. Pin number is 334-1986. I know I've been doing a lot of talking. I'm going to let our co-host dive in here. I think she's ready to share now. You ready to share, Bishop T?
I am, and I'm really listening. I hear what everybody is saying. Here is my theory. Here is what I have chosen. And here's what I continue to say. Here's what I say to my family. As individuals, we have to make ourselves knowledgeable about the vaccination, about COVID-19, about the variant, which is Delta, and then govern yourself accordingly. And I say that because, like you just said, there are all kind of conspiracy theories out here. As a race of people, we to some degree have a right to be skeptical. To some degree, we have that right. But what we're going to have to do is make ourselves knowledgeable through platforms as this, because I know that we were trying to get a physician or either a nurse to come on and give us hard facts about the vaccination. So for me, I'm not going to wait for the governor to say put a mask on. I know people who were not vaccinated, and one of those has been in the hospital twice. First because of COVID, and then the second time from the effects of having COVID. Then I know people who have been vaccinated and still got COVID. And what we do know about the vaccination is it does not prevent you from catching COVID. It lessens the chance or the severity of you being hospitalized or even death. So we know that. So to me, it's important that for me, like I say, for my family, what I did was there were different ones of us who got the vaccination. So we were proof to our family members that we're still here. We haven't grown horns. You know, the government is not in our heads and all of this. So the best way that we can really get the information out and per se be a witness is once we get vaccinated, try to compel our family members and our friends to do the same. I had a family member that 3 months ago, definitely was not going to get vaccinated. But when we started having family gatherings and still at a distance, because even when we've had maybe a couple of gatherings, we still wore our masks, we were outside. So she started to see we're getting together again, but a large part of that was because the majority of us were fully vaccinated or either we were one shot in. So I think the best thing that we can, as it relates to the vaccination, is just really stay in our family members' ears. And not only in our family members' ears, but in our friends' ears, and mask up. Regardless to a mandate or not, we need to take care of ourselves. We need to take care of ourselves. Here's another thing too, that I would like to say even to pastors, because you know, in the past, down through the years, information got to the community by way of the pastor and churches. So most of us are not in service, or we're partially in person worship and online. We need to kind of just stay at it to get vaccinated. And I know we say Governor Ivey said blame them. We know she said blame the people who are not vaccinated. At the end of the day, we have a responsibility to ourselves. This is what I feel. If you're not going to get vaccinated, then quarantine as much as possible. What I really can't understand is the people who are not getting vaccinated are not wearing masks and they're not quarantining. So if I'm not going to get vaccinated and protect myself and others, that's then put your mask on. Put your mask on, stay your distance or whatever. Like today, I was in a particular place and I was 3 or 4 feet from somebody who was coughing, no mask. So we moved down, So, I mean, even if they mandate and say we have to wear masks like they did before, we know there's a percentage of people, there's a select group of people who are not going to do that. They're just not going to do it. They're just not. And we know who they are. We know what state we're in. We know our state. And we know we're a Republican state. We're red state. So it's not a surprise to me that any of this is taking place. What we can do is provide platforms like this, educate as much as we can in our community, in the Black and brown community, to get vaccinated. And definitely the more medical information that we can put in the hands of people to show the safety of the vaccination is a plus. Now, for me, the first shot was a breeze. The second shot was not as much of a breeze. I'm honest with people when I say that. I don't sugarcoat it. My first shot, no problems. The second shot, I experienced a few things. Fatigue, I experienced chills, I just couldn't get it together. And I share that with people, but the what we can do is start with our families and then go out from our families. Word of mouth in the Black and brown community is how I feel that we can increase those numbers. Here again, if I understand correctly, because I was trying to get my Wi-Fi together, get my internet together, I understand that there are incentives. Now I got a say what now?
Go ahead. Continue.
I know that there are incentives. I have a family member that was like, well, she had already started, but she was like, had I known that, so there, some of us, hey, I told her, I said, just try it anyway. You ain't had your second shot. Try it anyway. See if they'll give it to you. But that to me is going to be a plus. Sadly to say, I think I heard it was $100. But we got to have some care for ourselves. And I know Alabama right now is ranked last as it relates to the vaccination rate. It's ranked last. And so for 2 or 3 days, Alabama and Governor Ivey was on national news, So I don't know, Councilman and Commissioner, if there's a solution, if there's an answer, no more than to say that we just stay in the ears of our people, and encourage them to get vaccinated. And maybe for some pastors, maybe some incentives from the church as well, encourage and motivate some people to get vaccinated. But I think as we move forward as a community, we're going to have to take some of this responsibility and work within our own communities. They're not, you know, something with some, what I heard something today, and it may have been earlier here on this show. They're not going to take care of us, whether it's for economical reasons or whether it's systemic racism, whatever it is. We have to take control in our communities, educate, inform, and make the vaccination available, or do whatever we can. That's the way I see it.
Listen, you made the statement about the incentives, and I heard you say it was a plus. However, people have their opinions, and where some would see that as a plus, some may not see it as such. And you know, we have a comment here. I don't want anything from the government that they are paying me to take. You know, we welcome all the comments. We do. Um, You have somebody that said our people have valid and documented reasons for distrust.
So let me ask a question while you're reading some of the comments. Let me ask this question with respect to the last. Okay, so if I'm not gonna get vaccinated, what am I going to do? I guess that's the question. And I understand the hesitation. I understand it. Here's what I don't understand. You don't get vaccinated, but you're not quarantining. You don't get vaccinated, you won't wear masks. You won't get vaccinated and you won't stay 6 feet apart. So I hear what's the solution if I'm not going to get vaccinated? I'm not going to follow in it. How am I going to stay safe? Because it is apparent that it is taking lives. It's taking lives. So it's those that, you know, I know as an African Americans, Black and brown community, we it's justifiable. But what would be the alternative if I'm not going to vaccinate, mask up, and stay apart?
That's true. You know, you and I mean, we went to eat at Cracker Barrel. There it is, a lady sitting out there pulling on a cigarette, coughing, not covering her mouth, looking directly at me, and I'm looking at her like, I mean, you know, this stuff out here, man, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? I mean, and she looking at me like, and I'm like, I mean, you really doing that? And me and Tony was sitting outside waiting on to be seated, and we was going to get up and move because
Well,
we try to protect ourselves.
I had my mask on too. I was masked up.
I want to ask the question.
Look what they said. Look what this gentleman said. If you don't get the shot, make sure you got a good insurance policy. I mean, it's
serious. It's serious.
Let me ask the question. I'm not vaccinated, but I still wear my mask.
You mean that makes sense. If you're not going to get vaccinated, what are you going to do to protect yourself and others as well?
Why not have double protection? Wear the mask and get the shot. Then you know. You know, but let me talk a little bit about the vaccinate gas in the Senate. It started on July the 20th and it'll end on October the 15th. You have to get both shots. If you get in the Moderna or Pfizer, but if you get Johnson & Johnson, it's just the one shot. And they will fill out the paperwork at the pharmacist. I'll go down the list here. Jared Pharmacist, Walgreens on Megan, Walgreens on Rainbow Drive, Rick's Discount Drugs, Gaston City Pharmacy, Physicians Apothecary, Quality of Life, Super B, and the Etowah County Health Department. They will have the paperwork there, and they will fill it out for you because once you get both shots, you bring that paperwork to the first floor of City Hall, and they will issue you $100, and then you will go in a drawing after the first 500 people for a $5,000 drawing. And then we'll do that twice. And the reason why we're doing it is because of the numbers I gave out earlier. we only at 29% for both shots, at 34.8% for one shot, and we're last in the nation here in Etowah County, and the state of Alabama is last in the state. So that's why we are doing it.
Okay.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah,
I'm
listen.
sorry, councilman and commissioner. Well, first of all, I didn't really get to prep you all as well as I would have liked to for this show.
Mm-hmm.
But if you see some interacting between myself and the host,
Mm-hmm.
don't start tonight. Not today, as you say.
Hey, listen, I've gotten more calls about us giving $100 in the $5,000 drawing than I did about the rendering plant. People are upset because we're giving it to people to try to get them to take the shot.
Yeah.
You know, because we have to do something to try to save people's lives. And really, when you're taking that shot, you're saving their life, or if not their life, somebody else.
Let's talk about something real quick because it came up, and I want to look at this one. They brought up the difference in the vaccine and the school immunization. Comparing it, people keep comparing this vaccination to school vaccinations. Different is with the current required school vaccinations. There is decade-long documentation outlining short and long-term effects. And then we had another person says, the last pandemic was in 1918 and it lasted for about 2 years. This was without the technology that we have today. They wore masks and I'm sure they practiced infection control. Your question to you, either one of you can answer this. Should we compare the vaccination to the immunization shots? And do you think in the future this would be part of a immunization that people is going to be required? Like we have to get the blue card, some in the schools and different things. Would this be part of it?
Dre, I think it will become part of, but I think we're going to run into the problem that it's going to be more than that, because if we don't start masking up and we don't get that shot, this disease, this infection disease will mutate and change, and you're going to need another shot. What we're asking people to do is get the shot to help with the mutation of it changing. It's changing course, like we have the variants now. It's changed from COVID-19 to variants. What will it change to next time? We're not asking you to take the shot to keep from getting it. We're not asking you to take the shot because it's going to keep you from getting it. We're asking you to take the shot so that we can control the spread and control it changing course to where we got to come up with another vaccine, and we'll be in a pandemic a lot longer than 2 years if we don't get it under control. And if we're here in Alabama in last place, we are infection ground zero, almost kind of like saying that it's going to start a mutation period here, and we're going to have a harder time fighting it, and people are going to start going back in the hospitals like once before. So we're asking you to take it, not because someone trying to kill you, someone trying to hurt you. I think the only reason the money is being offered is to encourage you, because the thing was, no one is getting a shot. So what can we do to encourage somebody? Well, everybody like a little bit of money, so let's offer them some money and see if that will motivate them to go get the shot. It's not about someone trying to hurt you. They're giving you the shot to help you and to help others. This is not about you as an individual person. It's about us saving our society and our community, because we need each other right now. We need that shot so this thing don't change course.
And I'm very much concerned about people really taking this lightly. Your body can handle the infection. You contract it, you can handle it. But you may have a grandparent that you go visit, where it devastates you to know that you passed it on to them. All because you were stuck on your idea that I don't need to take this thing. Um, I don't know what it's going to take. The main factor to consider with this vaccine is more than 600,000 people have died. We want to especially consider our children. Get vaccinated, please.
Andre, I'll share this with them while you're reading. I caught COVID-19, and it was not a pleasant thing to have. I did go into the hospital for 5 days. I thought I was going to die. I wanted to die. It was painful. It hurt. I didn't want no part of it. So I want to encourage you that if you haven't had it, I understand Bishop was sharing her symptoms. I wanted a blanket, and I couldn't have a blanket because I was so cold with fever. They wouldn't give it to me. It's not nice. It's not pleasant. It doesn't play. I thank God that I was strong enough to fight it. But at the same time, I thought I was going to die. I want to encourage you to get that. It's not to keep you from getting it. It's to make your symptoms milder and help protect other people that you love and care about. Your family members are important to you, and we know they are. But like Pastor Z said, you don't want to get this to your small children who can get the variants. You don't want to get this to your grandparents or your elderly family members that are your history and your backbone. You don't want them to catch this, the next one that's coming. Please, ma'am, please, sir, please.
Listen, exactly. There's, how can you say it's saving us, but you don't know the long-term effects? Let me say this, because this is one thing that I use for an example, and then we're going to read a few more. We do a lot of stuff that we don't know what the long-term, short-term effects are. We take a lot of things, we do a lot of things, and we do it because we want to do it. But when it comes down to something we don't want to do, we can make up all the reasons why we don't want to do it to support our opinion about what it is. Nobody knows the long term. All we're trying to do is survive this. There was one that came on here, and I want us to look at this as well. What about the people that received the vaccine and died? No one is talking about that anymore. What are the ingredients in these vaccines? My concern are that I have a lot of allergies, and when I asked the CVS pharmacy for information on the vaccines, they had none to give me. And listen, I can really I'm respecting everything that everyone is saying. But a person, that's really concerned and want to ask questions and want to receive information for themselves before they do it, you are correct to do that. And if you can't get information from the CVS pharmacy where you want to receive the vaccine or thinking about receiving it, go somewhere that will provide you the information that you're looking for, because there's information out there. There are some information out there.
I think too that's a good point, Pastor. If you're
before you say, but hold that right there. Ms. Jordan, we are not believing the same thing. We disagreed in some areas, and we are answering the questions that those people are providing for us. It's not a panel, it's our talk show that we happen to have Commissioner Washington and Councilman Worthy on to share what their opinion and theory is concerning the thought that Governor Ivey said. Blame them. And when she said blame them, she was actually talking about the unvaccinated. She was talking about blaming the unvaccinated for not taking the vaccine and spreading it. The reason why it's on a rise. That's all we're doing.
What?
All comments are welcome. Back in your hands, Bishop.
And what I was about to say is, if you have questions as it relates to your health, how it's going to affect your health or anything that you have going on, the best thing that I would say is go to your doctor. If you got high blood pressure, if you got diabetes, if you got allergies and sinuses and all of that, I would suggest make an appointment with your physician and ask, is the vaccination safe for me? Is it safe for me to take it? then you get an opinion from somebody who's your medical care doctor, and then proceed with taking it. That was a comment that came up, and I believe it was Mr. Simpson or Simmons. I can't remember. I didn't really see what it was, but he said he did it for his grandchildren.
Bobby Simpson, Deacon Bobby Simpson, my good friend at Morning Star Baptist Church.
Right, for
They
his
think about his
grandkids.
grandkids daily.
The commissioner said something. Commissioner Washington said something. We need each other. So as it relates now, for me, I asked my mother what she wanted to do. When she said she wanted to take it, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take it for her. So whatever goes on, if it goes on with her, it's going to go on with me. So it's like depending on each other, or doing it for your grandkids, doing it for your grandparents, doing it for... I just like the idea of being able to embrace, especially my family members, and being able to be close. We still close with precaution, but it's almost like helping each other and encouraging each other so that, like he said, so that we can stop the spread. So we can stop the spread of this virus. That's the biggest thing, so that it doesn't mutate and other variants come up.
And let me say this, because for those who have not received the vaccine, let me go back and say what I said a few minutes ago. There was a statement made, quote unquote, it's about time we start blaming the unvaccinated. This is what our show is about tonight. Governor Kay Ivey. Now, whether you choose to do it, that's your choice. We're not beating you up. We're trying to find a solution on how can we control this. I hope y'all heard the commissioner and the councilman say we are in last. Can you listen?
If you watch the news, we on the news. We on national news.
Okay.
We on national news.
Councilman Worthy, can you explain to the people what last mean?
Very last.
Last what? What last what?
In the nation.
To do what?
For vaccination rate. We are at 29% for both doses. We are at 34.8% for one dose. That's in Etowah County. So the Alabama is last in the nation.
Okay, now that's far as the vaccination.
Right.
Okay, now my question is, where are we for as the people that has been affected most recently, the cases? Where are we with the cases?
In the last 14 days, we've seen 145% spike in the coronavirus test positive.
In Etowah County?
In Etowah County.
Do we place anywhere in the state of Alabama?
You know what? They didn't give that data on the conference call this morning with EMA, but I would get it. I'm sure.
See, and the reason why they trying to say there's a possibility is due to those who are not vaccinated, is because of the low percentage of the vaccinated and the spike. Right. Am I right?
Right.
That's
Let's
it.
look at it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bishop.
Let me ask this, Councilman Worthy. You may have already answered it or said you didn't have the information. Of those that are hospitalized or those cases that have come up recently, did you say that you don't have the information that they're not vaccinated?
That information they didn't give, but let me text while we're talking, and I'll try to get that information, okay?
Okay, but what I do know is nationwide, the majority of the cases that are coming up now, the hospitalizations now are from non-vaccinated people.
Exactly. And I gave you a number.
It's from non-vaccinated people.
0.0003% of the people that's vaccinated that passed away with it due to, they said, underlying conditions. So that's way less than 1% of the people that's dying. So 99% of the people that's passing is unvaccinated. So that's all we're not saying it's 100%, but it's going to give you a better chance to survive, especially with this Delta variant. That's all. That's all.
And let me reiterate this. I do not enjoy going to funerals, especially those that I didn't have to go to. Okay, let me put it this way. Those that we say all the time, gone too soon. Gone too soon. If I didn't love you, I wouldn't even be on here pleading and begging you to really rethink it, to get some information on it, reconsider it, because we want to see you live. Get that. See, it appears that some of you that are commenting appear to think that we are coming at you or coming down on you, saying negative things towards you, but we love you is the reason why we're asking you to reconsider. It's your body. You do what you want to do with it. I hear people saying, I'm a pastor, and I hear people saying it irks me when they say it. Pastor Washington and Bishop Latham, it irks me when I hear these people say, I'm covered under the blood. Just pray about it. Okay. It's a whole lot of people on my prayer line every night at 9 o'clock that's putting their family members that's on the respirator in the hospital fighting for their life. Now, I tell people all the time, blood gonna keep you out of hell. But some things you need to be thinking about and quit. You ain't that spiritual. I don't care who you are. You can quit. That's just your way of saying you ain't gonna get the shot. It ain't got nothing to do with how spiritual you trying to act like you are. But I am concerned. I'm very much concerned about where our minds are, what we thinking. I mean, why are we so against or think that we're against you because we're trying to convince you to look after yourself and your loved ones? We got quite a few comments coming up on here. I've had COVID and I've been vaccinated for my family, students, and teachers at Thompson Elementary School. COVID was no joke, but I had to do something. Doing nothing was not an option. Please consider getting vaccinated for the students and teachers. As we return to work next week, concerned principal. And yes, they were scared for their life. We had people who actually retired because they did not want to go back to school when they allowed those kids to go back to school this past year. And this past year, the kids weren't getting it as much that they're getting now. The funeral home is big business in Birmingham.
Let me say something, Pastor. And please don't get upset with me if I say this, because we'll talk about the long-term effects of the vaccination. And I've heard some of the comments. We don't know what the long-term effects of the vaccination are. Some of us drink alcohol and we drink it excessively. We know what the long-term effects are. Some of us partake in whatever drug or whatever we do, and we know what the long-term effects are. They tell us. So my thing is, if you look around you, I'm looking at 3 people right now. All 4 of us have been vaccinated. I was vaccinated, I think, in March or whenever it was. When was it? March, April, whenever. Everybody here is still intact. You know, we're still intact. It just disturbs me when I hear we don't know what the long-term effects are. But we do know there are long-term effects of COVID-19. I don't know if I have spoken to anyone that has had COVID-19 that is tested negative, but they still have long-term effects from COVID-19. So it's almost like we're pleading with people, and really there should be enough facts before us. If you put it on the scale, the balance scale, there's enough information before us to say, okay, the long-term effects of COVID, the long-term effects of the vaccination.
Okay. I just got a response from my text to the
I have a
EMA
family
director.
member right now
Oh, I'm sorry.
that the effects of it.
No,
Go
no, that's
ahead.
okay.
Did I overtalk
I'm sorry.
somebody?
I
I'm
thought
sorry.
You paused, so I thought you was finished. The EMA director says that the majority of those admitted have not been vaccinated to the hospital. The majority. She couldn't give me the exact number right this minute, but the majority has not been vaccinated that's in the hospital.
Tanya, I want you to look at this right here. I think this is Epiphany says something very that I think that people need to hear. Our community has lost a great deal of citizens, people we know from COVID or symptoms related to COVID. Is that not enough? People who are being diagnosed, hospitalized, and are preparing to be placed on a ventilator are begging for the
They are.
vaccine. Doctors have to tell them that it's too late. Don't be next.
And that is true. I mean, I watch CNN practically all day. And I know we say, well, this, like I say, Alabama was in the news 3 or 4 days there straight, made national news. But the reality of it is, there are people, just as Epiphany said, who it is too late. Once you're in the hospital, it's too late to ask for the vaccination. Then it's too late.
And you know
as
what?
a people,
Go ahead.
As a people, we need to become proactive and stop being reactive. Proactive is while you are healthy, while you haven't come in contact with it, get vaccinated. You're vaccinated. If you come, and I know, Pastor, you said there are people who believe that they're covered by the blood. I'm not going to speak against that because that's according to their faith. Just that's that. But for those who are, if when it's our time to go, we going anyway. When God get ready for us, we're going. But for me, we always in our community react with everything. We react instead of being proactive. You don't think about automobile insurance, even though it's the law, until somebody has run into you that doesn't have it, or you've run into somebody and you don't have it. We don't think about life insurance. I don't want to talk about that. I don't need until you're dead or somebody's dead. Now you're setting up a GoFund and trying. This is proactive. And if we say it 100 times, let's just say it again. It's not a guarantee. It doesn't keep you from getting COVID. But it does minimize your symptoms.
And your chance
of Pastor Huff having to attend another funeral.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that no more. I'm tired of
And I will keep saying, Commissioner, thank you. Let's just join together. Let's just become unified and work together to stop the spread of this virus. And the first thing to do that is to get vaccinated. I can agree on that. I can agree. I think that's one of the things that we should sound loudly from this panel tonight, this discussion tonight, is let's work together to get vaccinated, because we need each other to survive this pandemic. We need
You know,
each other.
you and I was talking, Bishop, about they won't talk. People want to know about the long term of the vaccine. Well, a comment came up that triggered what you and I discussed. Let's look at this right here. I had a mountain case, but I still experiencing brain fog and a couple of other health issues. Now let's look at this. You want to know about the long term of the vaccination. That we have noticed a change in a lot of people that have had the virus. They are not the same. They have slowed down. They have aged. We have actually. Am I right, Bishop?
I know several people who have had COVID-19 and they're not the same. Whether it's brain fog, like she said, I think there are things that are coming up now with your legs or whatever it is, blood clots. There are a number of things of people who are coming up that are coming up now. What was Miss Hardy's statement? I didn't get a chance to read it, but there are a number of people who are experiencing long-term effects from. Yeah, that's what I said earlier. If you're not going to get vaccinated, then wear the mask. If you're not going to get vaccinated, stay 6 feet apart. Stop having the big gatherings and But then
there's a question, and it's been on here a couple of times. Why no one is going this hard about the flu vaccination? And it's outrageous and all this. That's not. From my opinion, that's not what we're dealing with right now. We're not. We talking about things. The flu. We hear about the people catching the flu, but really, how many did the flu kill this past year? Did the flu put us in a place where we was shutting down the country? Let's talk about what's at hand. People go hard for the flu, but you done heard it so much that it don't even phase you now. But
can I say something, since we're talking about the flu? But what we do know about the flu, since we've been in the pandemic and wearing masks, the flu rate has dropped.
Oh yeah.
There was not one single case reported. There was not one single case reported of the flu in Etowah County, according to the CDC and Etowah EMA. Because of the wearing of masks, they put out a statement to us earlier that no cases have been reported because of the mask, and the large gatherings that cut down because of COVID. So the flu was not a big epidemic this year.
And I imagine if it had become an epidemic, we would be going as hard for it if we were experiencing the death rate that we have with COVID. I'm sure it would be the topic of discussion, or if it had caused us to be in a pandemic and all the lockdowns and everything.
We heard about the mask that because I see someone said it's the mask. And I see very few people wear the what was the mask number? The
M98.
M98. That was the one they said the only one that worked against it. Very few people wear those masks. I got all type of masks in here. Designer masks with my name on it. Them ain't no M98s. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking N95. They said.
Yeah.
But they're giving credit to the mask now. So people think the mask is gonna spare them from getting it. I don't know, but I will say this. Loving people is exhausting. I don't know if y'all heard what I just said, but loving people can be exhausting. Trying to love them and trying to, because I'm telling you, for every statement you have, there comes something else that they can kind of bring up to try to justify their ideas, their thoughts. We got one person that they brought up something that we brought up earlier. Remember Tuskegee, you know. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. That's some of the excuses that people. Um, Pastor Taylor from First Baptist Jacksonville said, "Loving people definitely is."
Yeah. Let me say this about uh, when they first started doing this vaccine, uh, trying to get the vaccine. They've been working on this for about 2 decades. This is not the first time we've had the coronavirus, so it ain't like they come up with it overnight. And then you have to look. It was a black
Right.
female that was able to do the Moderna vaccine, and they also reached out to HBCUs to help. And if you would notice, it was a black person it was the first person to get the vaccine, and it was a black person that gave him the vaccine. So that was because they knew of the Tuskegee experiment and other experiments that the government did on blacks. So they wanted to get out in front of that, so it wouldn't be a hesitance of blacks taking the coronavirus shots in the vaccines. So and that's still that helped, but it's not helping enough. So we're going to do more.
Let me
Amen.
share this.
Hold on 1 second. You back, Bishop.
Yeah,
You back.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. That text I sent you from minutes ago. Refer back to it. Refer back to that text. Dr. Lewis, if you would, let me know if we can get Dr. Franklin Richardson. See if he's able to come on Real Talk. If he is, we want to send him the information. If he is, text me his email address and I'll get that information on to him and allow him to share with us on tonight. Dr. Lewis.
I wanted to say this. When 45 was in office and he called it a hoax, a whole lot of his followers would not take the shot or would not do anything, wear the mask. And we talked about them being crazy, ignorant, and stupid, and all kinds of things about them because they was following the president. Here we are now with the same opportunity, and we're acting just like those followers acted. We have an opportunity to do something to help ourselves. I know we have a little fear, but then we pray and ask God for help and ask God to deliver us. And then when things come, we forget that he orchestrated. I understand the faith movement. I understand the faith. I understand covered by the blood. But at some point, you got to stop making excuses and realize this is real. People have died, and people are trying to actually help you to be better if you happen to come in contact with either one of these, the variant or COVID-19. It's just a help. And it helps you because you'll be able to help somebody else. It's just like in a plane crash, what they say, put your mask on before you try to help somebody else. Get your shot so you can help somebody else.
Amen. Maybe we can get that doctor on next week. I would love to talk to him. I want to read something that a member here, Kevin Smith, posted, and I think it's very important that we really see what he's saying. He said, I deal with funeral homes all across the U.S. It is spiking everywhere. I have lost family, friends, and colleagues in the funeral industry due to the COVID. They are so overwhelmed with death, they have refrigeration trucks to house the bodies. Get vaccinated. Think about others and your family. So Councilman Worthy, share with us anything you think that the listeners just need to know, or what you want to share with them?
Well, information is powerful. The right information. We have a lot of false information out there, and not only false information, but downright lies that some people are spreading about the coronavirus vaccine. And a lot of people are saying, well, why you don't have the data for long term? But if you don't take it, you may not be around to even find out about the data for long term, the long term effects of coronavirus. So, and we don't want the economy to shut down again. That's going to happen. And I don't think we can go through another shutdown of the economy, because it's already bad in our community, and it would be worse if we have to shut down again, because a lot of our jobs are these frontline jobs. So we have to go to work. That's why we were catching it more than other people. So we have to continue to encourage people to take the vaccine, and if they don't, we just got to give them that information so they can make the right decision for them. But I don't want them to have to, be on a ventilator saying they wish they would have took the shot, because I know several people have, from the news reports, been on the ventilator and asked and begging for the doctors to give them a shot, but it's too late then. But let me give some information, a little more information here that, from the Drake Kirkpatrick, his foundation. They're gonna be they partnering with the city. Also, Drake Kirkpatrick 21st Kids Foundation have received a grant from the Alabama Department of Public Health to provide education, outreach to the African American and Hispanic populations in Etowah and Calhoun County. Their goal is to solicit people to get vaccinated, but to make sure individuals are well informed so they can make an informed decision. So the mission is to educate, engage, empower through partnership, assist with cost of transportation, incentives, volunteers, interpreters, among other things. So I just wanted to thank Drake Kirkpatrick and his board for trying to help give us the correct information and educate us so we can make the right decision to get vaccinated.
Thank you, Councilman. What about you, Commissioner? You have anything?
Just closing words, I would like to say, thank you guys again for having us on. Again, we sow and see in Real Talk the love that you guys have for the community and want to see the community flourish. I would just like to say, I would like to encourage the community to continue to listen to Real Talk, because it is Real Talk, and our community needs this kind of information to go out to change the hearts and minds of the people who are listening, so that they can be informed correctly, that when they do make a decision, the information is accurate enough that they can make the right decision. So I encourage everyone, seek out information for yourself, know for yourself, and get vaccinated for yourself, because it helps others when you do.
Amen. Your kinfolk said something about you. I'm the family member Bishop Tanya Latham referred to that it was totally against the vaccine from the beginning. I don't believe in or take pharmaceutical meds, and I'm also an anti-vaxxer. After contracting COVID 3 times in the last 16 months, including the Delta variant, I took the vaccine after almost dying and would take any booster that are recommended. I'm just saying.
And he was adamant. He was adamant. Then we start saying you're gonna have to have your cards to come to any of the gatherings.
Okay, Dr. Lewis, we're gonna let's talk later. And because we do this every Wednesday. So let's talk later. And I know Dr. Lewis, he has connections with the big people. He talks to Reverend Al Sharpton on the regular. He with these doctors and all right now. He says he's in Florida. So we're going to talk to Dr. Lewis later, and we'll be able to work something out to be able to get a doctor on to share. But we do care and we do love you, and we do want all of you to live. To live. That's what we want all of you to be careful, take care of yourself, and to live. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Councilman,
Thank you.
for all you do. We know election is coming up next year. Don't know what seats or positions y'all running for, but we do wish you well. We know that you're going to do well. Let me say this, we appreciate everything that you have done. And we know that if the Lord allow you to serve again in any capacity, you're going to do a wonderful job. You have my full support. Thank you again, Commissioner. Thank you again, Councilman. You want to say bye to them, Bishop T?
I don't want to just say bye, but thank you all. Thank you all for. You always ask me, like, all I have to say is bye.
I set the stage
you know
up
what
for
I'm
you,
saying?
man.
But thank you all. And anytime that it is needed or you feel the needed, just you have a place on this platform to get the information out as much as possible to our community. Again, thank you for coming tonight and sharing some statistics with us, and so that we can better help one another and encourage each other to get vaccinated and kind of be proactive with this situation. Thank
Amen. Wonderful job, wonderful show. And we thank you all that you're not so big that you can't come on our show and talk to us real talk. So thank you. I don't care how big you get. You don't forget little us. Get that right, Bishop? Just say yes.
You know,
Reverend, you something there.
What you finna say, Bishop?
I wasn't about to say anything.
All right.
I'll call you when the show is over.
Yeah. Okay then. Well, God bless you all. Thank you again, Commissioner Washington. Thank you again, Councilman Worthy. And thank you again, my beautiful co-host, Bishop T.
Wait a minute. Because I thought you were just allowing them to come out the show. I do want to make mention. If they want to leave, they can. But I do want to make mention, host, that we were going to touch. Do you not want to touch a little bit on some of the current events where, last week we were talking about self-care? You want to wait?
Let's do that another time.
We were talking about next time. Okay.
Let's do that next time.
Hey, Pastor Huff, do you mind if I make an announcement?
Go ahead.
On this Saturday, the 31st, at Donnell Hughley.
It's going to cost you, but go ahead.
Oh, Lord.
May cost you a little, may cost you a lot, but
hey,
it's going to cost you. But go ahead.
Hey, that's right. It may not cost you right now, but when we move in that direction, you need to go get all the free ones in. You can right now.
Yeah,
thank you, Bishop.
Slide it in right quick.
But we're going to have a free jazz concert open to the public to come to Donnell Hughley Park Saturday the 31st at 5 o'clock. Come out, get your place on the grounds, under the trees, put a tent up or put a blanket on the ground and cover yourself, and enjoy free live jazz from 5 o'clock until we have all 7 artists done and completed and done their show. It's free to the community.
And when is this?
Saturday, August 31st at Donnell Hughley Park in Green Pasture on Springfield.
August 31st?
Yeah, this Saturday. I'm sorry, July 31st.
Okay.
This Saturday. I'm sorry, this Saturday.
Green Pastures. It's
yes.
free, and it's in the Hughley Park, y'all. It's free, and it's in Hughley Park, right there in Green Pastures. Go out and support the jazz. Is it? Did I see something like a comedy or comedian supposed to be there?
We have one person that's supposed to be there to do some comedy, and then we have spoken word also going to take place. And there will be food vendors there and other vendors there set up if you want to just shop a little bit and support some of the local vendors.
What time it start?
It starts at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock in the afternoon. Y'all make sure y'all put your mosquito spray on.
Yeah.
All
bring
right.
in the
Let me make it announcement.
Oh, I know. It's something I want to ask both of y'all. It's something I want to ask both of y'all.
Okay.
Now that I said that, why in the world I haven't seen the Mosquito Man this year?
The Mosquito Man has been around.
He haven't been in my neighborhood.
No, you have to call because you have to call them, and they cannot spray the whole area. They can just spray in front of your house
Why?
because that's the state law. They changed
They
the
changed.
environmental stuff. EPA changed that. So you call if you're having a mosquito problem, they'll come and spray.
Man, I can't sit on my mama porch, man, without coming
I
out
understand.
feeling like I done been attacked.
I know it.
I mean,
I live up here by the woods. We
listen.
all the time.
Listen, I go in the house and get some of my daddy pullovers in the 100-degree weather just to keep from getting killed by mosquitoes. I mean, we got. I was wondering where the Mosquito Man was at. I ain't seen him in a while.
Oh yeah.
They can't run free no more.
That's been several years ago they changed that. But let me make an announcement. This is about our 6th annual job fair that we're having at the venue on August the 24th. And from 8 a.m. to 8 to 9, we will have a skills seminar, employability skills seminar with different human resources managers will be there and to talk to you about what they expect, from you. And then from 9 to 1, we will hold a job fair at the venue. And we're also partnering with Quality Life, and they will be giving the vaccine there. So if you want to take the vaccine, you could come to the job fair to get your vaccine.
Awesome. Let's see what she said. Lord, we have gone from talking about vaccine to talking about mosquitoes. Well, for all we know, the mosquitoes may be passing the virus. Get off my. Let me get off here before I've been and forgot who we on here with. We out.